Yes. I don't know, I'm asking. You're the authority at the moment. Okay, no problem. 26. Okay. No, it was like 33 yesterday, but he read some more verses. That's what I was asking. 40, okay.
Is this the right verse?
Yeah, this is fine. Yeah. Okay, 40. No problem. All right. I got it here. Is anyone, are you like new to coming in the morning here? Yeah? Okay, so we're going to read from a scripture called Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So, you've heard of the Bhagavad Gita? Yeah. So that's considered like the ABCs of spiritual life. So then it has all the spiritual techniques you can use in spiritual life. So the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is like your case studies, persons who have applied the techniques of Bhagavad Gita in the history of the universe. And it's a big book, 18,000 verses. Bhagavad Gita is only 700. So there's 18,000 verses. So in the temple here, every morning, they read from this scripture, and then someone would speak on the verses. So they do that every morning. And then after this, around 9 o'clock, there's prashadam upstairs. So you're welcome to stick around. Thank you for coming. Yes. So just repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 16, the Prayavratha process of worship, text 40. So up here is text 55, because all the verses leading up from text 40 to here have no purport. Text 55 has a purport. So I'll read all of it until text 55, and then we'll repeat this after together. Okay, text 40. Shritam payasi nevedam salayanam vibhavisati sahapi sagudham datva juhuyan mula vidyaya. If one can afford to, one should offer the deity fine rice boiled in milk with clarified butter and molasses. While chanting the same original mantra, one should offer all this to the fire. Next text. One should offer all the prashad to a Vaishnava, or offer him some of the prashad and then take some oneself. After this, one should offer the deity Achaman, and then betel nut, and then again worship the Lord. Text 42. Thereafter, one should silently murmur the mantra 108 times and offer prayers to the Lord for his glorification. Then one should circumambulate the Lord, and finally, with great delight and satisfaction, offer obeisances falling straight like a rod, dandavat. After touching, this is text 43. After touching one's head, all the flowers and water offered to the deity, one should throw them into a sacred place. Then one should feed at least 2 brahmanas with sweet rice. Text 44 and 45. One should perfectly honor the respectful brahmanas one has fed, and then after taking their permission, one should take prashad with his friends and relatives. For that night, one should observe strict celibacy, and the next morning, after bathing again with purity and attention, one should bathe the deity of Vishnu with milk and worship him according to the methods formerly stated in detail. Text 46. Worshipping Lord Vishnu with great faith and devotion, and living only by drinking milk, one should follow this vow. One should also offer oblations to the fire and feed the brahmanas as mentioned before. Text 47. In this way, until 12 days have passed, one should observe this Prayavratha, worshipping the Lord every day, executing the routine duties, performing sacrifices, and feeding the brahmanas. Text 48. From Pratipat until the 13th day of the next bright moon, Sukla Chayodasi, One should observe complete celibacy, sleep on the floor, bathe 3 times a day, and thus execute the vow. Text 49. During this period, one should not unnecessarily talk of material subjects or topics of sense gratification. One should be completely free from envy of all living entities, and one should be a pure and simple devotee of Lord Vasudeva. Text 50. Thereafter, following the directions of the Sastra with help from Brahmanas who know the Sastra, on the 13th day of the moon, one should bathe Lord Vishnu with 5 substances: milk, yogurt, ghee, sugar, and honey. Text 51 and 52. Giving up the miserly habit of not spending money, one should arrange for the gorgeous worship of the Supreme Personality Godhead Vishnu, who is situated in the heart of every living entity. With great attention, one must prepare an oblation of grains boiled in ghee and milk, and must chant the Purusha Shukta mantra. The offerings of food should be of varieties of tastes. In this way, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 53. One should satisfy the spiritual master, Acharya, who is very learned in Vedic literature, and should satisfy his assistant priests, known as Hota, Udgata, Advayu, Varayu, and Brahma. One should please them by offering them clothing, ornaments, and cows. This is the ceremony called Vishnu Aradhana, or worship of Lord Vishnu. Text 54. O most auspicious lady, one should perform all the ceremonies under the direction of learned acharyas, and should satisfy them and their priests by distributing prashad. One should also satisfy the brahmanas and others who have assembled. Now we're up to text 55. So you can repeat the Sanskrit after me. It's just on the board. We'll do one line at a time. Dakshinam Gurave Daryat Ridvik Vyascha Yatahataha Anand Yena Swapakamscha Priyanyat Samupagatan Dakshinam Gurave Daryat Ritvig Bhyascha Yatahata Anadyena Swapakascha Prinayat Samupagatan. Okay, I think it's you, Zach, or... Dakshinam Gurave Daryat Taha Anandyana Swapakamscha Prinaya Samupagatan. Okay, ladies. Dakshinam Gurave Daryat Rik Vyascha Yatahata Ananyena Swapakamscha Prinayat Samupagatan. Can try, anyone? No? Okay. So now I'm going to read the word-for-word transliteration, so it'll be Sanskrit and English. So repeat. Dakshanam some contribution of money or gold. Gurave, unto the spiritual master. Dadyat, one should give. Ritvik Biyacha, and to the priest engaged by the spiritual master. Yata ahataha, as far as possible. Anadhyena, by distributing prashad. Aswapakan, even to the chandalas, persons habituated to eating the flesh of dogs. Cha, also. Prinayat, one should please. Samupagatan, because they have assembled there for the ceremony. Okay, so I'll read the rest. Translation in purple by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. One should satisfy the spiritual master and assistant priests by giving them cloth, ornaments, cows, and also some monetary contribution. And by distributing prashad, one should satisfy everyone assembled, including even the lowest of men, the chandalas, eaters of dog flesh. Purport. In the Vedic system, prashad is distributed, as recommended here, without discrimination as to who may take the prashad, regardless of whether one be a brahmana, sudra, vaishya, kshatriya, or even the lowest of men, a chandala. He should be welcome to accept prashad. However, when the chandalas, the lower class or poorer class, are taking prashad, this does not mean that they have become Narayan or Vishnu. Narayan is situated in everyone's heart, but this does not mean Narayan is a chandala or poor man. The Mayavad philosophy of accepting a poor man as Narayan is the most envious and atheistic movement in Vedic culture. This mentality should be completely given up. Everyone should be given the opportunity to take prashad, but this does not mean that everyone has a right to become Narayan. Omagan timidandasya gyanana shalakaya chakshumitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swavedantikam Vancha Kalpatudubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Bhavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Kata Yata Yata Yasmin Duskarum Sukarum Bhavet Visvate Vipriyatim Syat Shri Chaitanya Namnanamitam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gauda Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So prashadam is essential to our Krishna consciousness. It says in the Bhagavad Gita, 17th chapter, Vidi hinam ashritanam mantra hinam adakshinam shada vira hitam yagyam tamasam parichakshate. Any sacrifice performed without regard for the directions of scripture, without distribution of prashadam, spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic hymns and ruminations to the priests, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. So, sacrifice has to take place. We sacrifice when you're a student. You have to study so much. You can't go to that party the night before the exam. No, there's no getting drunk before then. No, you sacrifice that night, go to sleep early, and make sure you cram as much as you can before the exam. Sacrifice takes place within the family. The husband would work a job that he does not like. But you do it to get money to maintain your family. The student, the kids want to please their parents. So they'll do what it takes to sacrifice their own desires to please someone else. So the devotee is trying to do the highest sacrifice, please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it is said here, if it's not combined with the distribution of prashadam, then it's considered in the mode of ignorance. So the mode of ignorance degrades us to become lazy, to not see reality, to be caught up in illusion. And for example, here in Melbourne, there are so many home programs. But if there was no prashadam at those home programs, I don't think you would go anymore. So we have less people here in the morning program, but I think we would have even less if there was no prashadam afterwards. Prashadam is, Prabhupada would say, our secret weapon. In terms of preaching, we do Harinam, sending the holy name out so everyone can catch it. We do the distribution of transcendental knowledge in the form of books so people can understand the absolute truth. And then the secret weapon, if no one's going to take books and no one likes the chanting of Hare Krishna, here, have a sweet. Have some halava. Yes, they'll be ready. Oh, okay, yeah. And Prabhupada said that we will conquer Australia by the distribution of prashadam. He sort of said that these Australians, they're not good for philosophy. And it's true. You know, when someone runs into Hare Krishnas, you know, it's like, hey, you got into that food? They don't remember you for like, oh, the temple, or, you know, it's like, you got in that food? Because, you know, so much catering at music festivals, you know, everyone's after a good feed, and they feel so fulfilled. It's like, yes, my, you know, every time I go to music festivals, I go to the Hare Krishnas because I know I'll get a good feed. So one time I was so I traveled with a camper van in Australia, going to different country towns. And I was one time in Bundaberg. So the nearest temple is Brisbane, which is like 20 hours away, you could say. And I'm on my own. There's no one else with me. I have a bag full of books, and I'm just banging this drum and singing. And it was the first time in this town. And I'm a bit worried because I grew up in Australia, and usually you stay away from country towns if you look a little different, you know, little redneck, you know, you might receive some racism or something, you know. When I drove there, I, you know, parked the car, go, Krishna, why I'm here? Anyway, I'll do it, you know. So I'm banging the drum through the street, making a lot of noise. And then from the other side of the street, this guy starts yelling at me, "Hey! Hey! Hare Krishna!" He runs across the street. He nearly got hit by a car. I didn't even see. He just ran straight to me. He goes, "Hare Krishna! Oh, where you been? Oh, you know, I haven't seen you in 20 years. Do you have a restaurant here? Where's the halva, mate? Where's the halva? Oh, I love that taste. Oh, I haven't tasted that for 20 years." You know, you can imagine he missed the taste of prashadam for so long. So this sharing of prashadam is the way we show love, actually, in the nectar of instruction. Sorry? Yeah, but he's asking, I'm on my own. He's asking, you got a restaurant here? Or I got halva in my pocket? I don't know. Yeah, you got a restaurant? Yeah, I just rocked up. You know, I set up a restaurant. Yes, so this is how we show love. You know? In the nectar of instruction, in the 4th verse, it says, Dadati prati grinanti guyam akyati pratyati bhunkte bhojayate cheva sadvidam priti lakshinam. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts. Revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasad and offering prasad are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. So this is the juice, the rasa that we build in Krishna consciousness. The only way, it's because it's very difficult to practice Krishna consciousness in this age. You're going against the grain of society. Everyone is like thinking you're useless now. Like, and why would you do such a thing? Why would you give up meat eating? Why would you give up intoxication? You know, illicit sex, come on. Why would you give up gambling or speculation? These are the juice of life. do you even really enjoy? You know, yes, we enjoy so much. Who dances and sings like this at 7 a.m. in the morning? You know? Thank you so much. Who dances like this? 7 a.m. in the morning, singing, dancing, you know, very up and vibrant. What a way to wake up. What a way to start the day. Usually, what is the general sense? Okay, alarm goes off. All right, flip on the news. Okay, these people died. This war is there. You heard that saying. No news is good news, right? So that means all the news is bad. Just to put you in such a state of ignorance and illusion. This is what materialistic sound vibration does to you. But no, devotees, they wake up with transcendental sound vibration. They bathe in that sound vibration, bathe their consciousness. And it's so much nicer. This is called the Sankirtan movement. So it needs to be done in congregation amongst other devotees. And then that gets even more sweeter, more juicier. The more the merrier. Our practice of spiritual life is not isolation and solitude. You know, that is done, we kind of think, okay, now I'm spiritual, now I have to give up fun. I have to escape into the forest, be in some cave, don't talk to anyone, and just like, you know, be miserable. You know, no more material life. You know. That's what I thought it was. You know, I liked to party. I was always looking for the best party, and I was thinking, okay, now spiritual life, you know, I tried all the party life. Spiritual life, no more parties, no more fun. I just be serious. And my parents were practicing Krishna consciousness before, so they brought me to the temple for the first time. And it was such an amazing experience, actually. I didn't know what to expect. I read the books. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I read the Science of Self-Realization. That was my first book. And I was like, wow, these are answering all my questions. And it even asked more questions that I didn't even think about. And answered them too. And I was thinking, wow, this is where it's at. But usually you get a good philosophy, but the people are dodgy. They don't follow it. So I want to see the people. So then I came... And I came through the doors, and I was like being like a mama's boy, because, okay, you know, I just trusted them, you know. And yes, and then, you know, some brahmacharis walked in, but they were like Australians, you know, in dhoti and everything. I'm like, yo, this is far out. They're really into it, you know. And then the altar opened. It was like covered with doors, and it was covered, and when the altar opened, I didn't see the deities. I saw the pujari. It was Stana Mataji. So she's from Bali. So she looks like Asian looking. I'm like, wow. Because in most Hindu temples, you don't have a lady on the altar. On top of that, you don't have a lady who's of like another background. I was like, wow. And then the way she offered the lamp, I don't know if you've seen in other Hindu temples, it's kind of like with this straight hand, like ding, 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 like this, you know, it's kind of like stern and serious. The way she did was like artistic, you know, it's like the way they offer the lamp, it's like, you know, they dip it down, and the flames don't fall down. Somehow they stay on. And it's like this. I was like, oh, this is something else. And then the kirtan started. And so my father's a devotee, but at home, me and my brother always saw my father as like this very serious, stern person, you know. So then he's there with the brahmacharis in the kirtan. They started chanting. And at that time, I just came out of a breakup, so I was really depressed. But then once the kirtan started, all the depression, that heavy feeling in the heart just disappeared. I was like, whoa, this is powerful. And then when I saw them dancing and chanting, I go, wow, these are sincere devotees. They're sincere, they're really doing it. And then I saw my dad, which was the most surprise. He is dancing with them, smile with hands in the air, and I'm talking to my mom thinking, who the hell is this person? What the hell happened? So, spiritual life can't be done alone. It's not possible, especially in Kali Yuga. It must be done in the association of the devotees. There was Radhika Prabhu, he helped Lokanath Swami in a book on Sanskrit. And they were walking along the beach one day, and Radhika Prabhu asked Maharaj, like, Maharaj, is there one thing that you can tell me that I can use for the rest of my spiritual life? So he was thinking, and then he started speaking about Kumbh Mela. So Kumbh Mela is like the biggest festival, spiritual festival in India. Like, they all come to the Ganges, and they set up this whole like tent city. 70 million people come. And that happens, they have like, it's every year, but then there's like one in every like 12 years, and then there's one every 144 years, which is like the big one. Yeah. But there's the one coming up in February. I'm going to try and go. That's the 12-year one, you know. So the idea is that you bathe in the Ganges, and there's a particular moment at the star constellation where the nectar of immortality pours into the Ganges. It's coming from the Leela of Mohini Murti. And that's the time you bathe, you know. So you can imagine at that moment, everyone's going to rush in. So at that part, the Ganges is very cold as well. So you could be in the crowd, next to the Ganges, you could be in the crowd, right? And if you're in amongst the crowd, and then it's time to bathe, say you change your mind, no, it's too cold, I'm not doing this, you know, you just freak out, no, I'm not doing this. It doesn't matter. The crowd will pick you up, put you in the Ganges, you know, in the Ganges River. So in the same way, if you stay packed up in the association of devotees, if you change your mind, I don't want to go back to the spiritual world, doesn't matter. The devotees will pick you up, put you back in the spiritual world. So this is and it's so nice, devotee association. You know, these are people who are thinking, I'm the servant of the servant. People out there who are not in spiritual consciousness, they're thinking that I'm the master. Everyone is for my, gain. And if you're not part of that program, then just get out of my life. You shouldn't exist. But no, the devotee accepts every living entity as parts and parcels of Krishna. Oh, they are part of my Lord. Of course I will somehow serve them, elevate them in some way. So imagine a whole community of people like that, who are not into the society of exploitation of this material world. Just knock each other down. Oh, for me to look better, I have to knock someone else down. He's good, he's all right, he's faking it. But me, I'm real. You may have caught yourself do that saying in your mind. But no, a devotee thinks the other way. Wow, he's so good. Krishna has empowered him. Krishna has given him the gift. How do I get I should assist them in their service to Krishna. Then that's the key to get that quality. If you see someone who has a really good quality, you don't try and challenge them. You don't try to denounce their great ability. Say someone's a good singer, or someone's a good drum player, or someone's really good at giving classes. What you do is that you try and serve that person. Fold their clothes, open a door for them. Some service, and then what happens? You get their quality. But if you start to fault find, if you say, they have so many faults, actually you're just seeing your own faults and you're reflecting in that person. Actually you gain that fault that you're seeing. So that's the materialistic society. Even though you're fault finding, you just gain more through your criticism. But in the community of devotees, it's all about kirtan. Kirtan means to glorify. Thank you so much for coming. Hare Krishna. This means to glorify. Kirtan means to glorify. And we glorify pretty much everything. How many, we bow down, prema doing, ki, jai, 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 jai. Jai means victory. Victory to Prabhupada, victory to Vrindavan, victory to the devotees, victory to Harinam Sankirtan. So much victory is there in the Sankirtan movement. Pradam Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. It's supremely victorious. This Sankirtan movement, this movement of spreading the holy name of Krishna. So in that association, we give charity and receive charitable gifts. These gifts can be just like a photo of Krishna. It can be books. It can be prashad, of course. We always love a burfi or some milk sweet. I saw Jake when you had that sweet we gave you on the beach, the burfi. I saw your face just sort of melt. Yeah. So you can't help it, you know. It's so amazing. So this is the power of prashadam. And you can see this sharing of love. I saw this one time. So there's this festival called the Shantipur Festival. And this is near Mayapur. Mayapur is the headquarters of the Hare Krishna movement. It is where, so you see the two with their hands up. So the one on the right, he appeared 500 years ago. He's Krishna, and he started the process of self-realization by chanting and dancing. So he appeared in a place called Mayapur. So nearby is a place called Shantipur. And that's where one of his associates called Advaita-Acharya is from. And he started this festival, and the whole festival is that you distribute food, spiritual food. But at this festival, whoever distributes food here gets Krishna Prem, gets the love of God. That's the goal of spiritual life. So everyone's there, right? Everyone's running there. So they still do this festival. It's organized by His Holiness Kavi Chandra Maharaj. So I went for the first time. And it's quite funny. Usually when you go for prashadam, say there's a Vyasa Puja feast or some feast. There's always a feast here. You're always ready to sort of sit down and get ready into the feast, right? But there, no one wants to sit down. Everyone wants to get a bucket and serve. So everyone's lining up to get a bucket to serve, and hardly anyone's sitting down. But then they had this rule that you only can serve one bucket. So then after you got done your bucket, you have to sit down. And because everyone was in this mood no, I'm going to serve here, I'm going to serve, I'm not going to try and enjoy, I'm not going to try and be served. Then, this feeling of the spiritual world was there. It felt like Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is a word for the spiritual world which means no anxiety. Kunta means anxiety, and Vaikuntha means no anxiety. So this place is an embassy of the spiritual world, where Krishna is in the center and his will of pleasing the devotees, serving each other, elevating each other, pushing each other towards Krishna is the focus. And prashadam is not just food. It's like transcendental substance. And what are the benefits of it? If one takes prashadam, all your sins are gone. Whatever reactions, gone. Your senses become purified. It's our senses that get us in trouble. We have the sight, hearing, touch, taste, smell. These things are always dragging us everywhere. And it says that the hardest sense to control is the tongue. Out of all the senses. It wants to always say something, and it always wants to taste something. Even when you're full, it still wants to taste more. This is the nature of the tongue. So, but if you look at the body, you have the tongue, the belly, and the genitals in one line. So if you control the tongue, automatically you can control the belly and the genitals. So this is the one main sense to control. So prashadam is wonderful, and chanting of Hare Krishna and dancing is wonderful. It's not like a restriction like the yoga in the cave. I don't want to see nothing. I don't want to think of anything. No. We will always chant and glorify Krishna. We will always take as enough prashadam to our full satisfaction. Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur said, your Krishna is so kind that you have allowed us to control the tongue by taking wonderful, delicious prashadam. And that prashadam is something else. The people who cook that, everyone says their mom's cooking is the best because she puts so much love in there. But the people who cook this food, they have love for Krishna. And when they cook, they don't taste it or smell it. This is only for Krishna, I don't taste this. And they put their consciousness in there. And if you have love for Krishna, automatically you have love for everyone and everything. For example, if I love my hand, Automatically I love the fingernail, and the nail polish if it's there. It's all included. So that's the type of love that goes in there. And then Krishna, he tastes that food. And he removes all the karma that's attached to it. It could be like slave labor. It could be that, all the trucks it's been transported, hit so many kangaroos along the road or something. And, it's so many factors could be there that could be negative. So all that negativity is taken away. And then Krishna blessedly puts his love in there, and that's what you taste. So it's not just food for the body, but food for the soul. We are not vegetarians. We are prashadinarians. So this is, the power of this prashadam is that it nourishes the finer brain tissues for you to understand spiritual subject matters. Well, most people, they've destroyed brain cells in this day and age. We are destroying brain cells in so many ways. And most ultimately, you get the higher taste. Very easy. Visya vini vitante nirhasya dena rasarajam rasopriyasya padam disvanimatate. That the yogi is trying to control his senses, but he still has a taste for sense objects, the things that he used to enjoy. But by experiencing a higher taste, automatically he's fixed in consciousness and he gives up the lower taste. So it's not like we talk about, when one gets serious about Krishna consciousness, he takes shelter of his spiritual master and he takes some vows. These vows, when he becomes serious, when maybe he's practiced for 1 or 2 years or whatever, he promises to chant 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna mantra on beads. So you can see we've got these beads here hanging around our neck. So there's 108 on each, and then they do it 16 times. So that's the vow. And then they promise to avoid 4 sinful activities. Meat eating, which includes fish and eggs. Intoxication, which includes tea and coffee, so no caffeine. And to avoid illicit sex, so not against sex, but sex within marriage. And for the purpose of producing children and raise them in God consciousness. And to refrain from gambling. So that's like forever. Thank you. See, this is the loving exchanges taking place. Smelling the Mahaprasad of Krishna. So yes, when one becomes serious, they do that. But one cannot do that right away. So one needs to gradually. So they start to add in Krishna. So you start to add in the chanting. You start to add in the reading. You start to add in prashadam. And then it's not like you give up meat, but meat gives you up. It's not like you give up drinking or smoking, but these things give you up because you're on a higher plane now. You don't feel like it anymore. I remember, I used to like meat, I thought I could never be vegetarian. It's good that you can do it, but meat, no. But then, once I started tasting prashadam, then, on a, say, Australia Day or some public holiday, everyone rips out a barbecue, and you smell like burning meat going on, and, oh, what is that? You start to lose taste for it. So, it's a very natural way to purify oneself. It's not a way of denial, but it's a way of accepting more of Krishna in your life. And then automatically these negative things in our life just sort of fall off. So everyone should get prashadam, even the demigods, these celestial beings in the higher planetary systems. They also want the Mahaprasad of Lord Narayan, of the Supreme Lord. And there's a story in the Chaitanya Mangala. So one day, Narada Muni, he's gone to Vaikuntha, he's gone to see Lord Narayan. And he sees Lakshmi Devi, and he begs to Lakshmi Devi, my dear mother. Lakshmi Devi is the wife of the Lord, of the Lord Narayan. And my dear mother, please, I want the prashadam of the Lord, of your husband, She's like, no, Lord Narayan gave me a strict rule that don't give my prashadam to anyone like this. So I can't, But please, I want it so bad, And then Lakshmi Devi, she's like a bit worried. She's like, oh, she really wants to please this devotee. So then it's time for the Lord's meal. And the Lord sees that Lakshmi she's like despondent. She's like, oh, okay, what's, my dear wife, what's wrong? She's like, well, I know you never told me to give your Mahaprashadam, but this is Narada Muni, he's your dear devotee, I want to give him. And he goes, okay, I'll make an exception, but just give it in such a way that I don't see. And then she goes, okay. So Narayan sort of turns away, and then she takes whatever was left and gives it to Narada Muni. And Narada Muni is so excited. He's like, wow, he's just eating, he's so excited. And he was like, in ecstasy, he's just dancing all over the universe. Says he travels on this, it's like I don't know if you've heard of a veena. It's like a sitar, but even longer. It's called a veena. So he plays this, singing the glories of the Lord, and that's how he travels around the universe, like a transcendental spaceman. So he's singing and being ecstatic. He's going all over the universe. And then he makes it to Kailash, the home of Lord Shiva. And then Lord Shiva's like, hey, what's happening? You seem so ecstatic. What happened? I know you're ecstatic all the time. You have love of God, but now you're like extra. What happened? And Narada Muni says, wow, I got the Mahaprashadam of Lord Narayan. You got the Mahaprashadam? Yep, I got the Mahaprashadam. Wow, that's amazing. Did you save some for me? Oh, my dear Lord Shiva, I didn't... Wait, let me check under my fingernail. And he got this little piece from under his fingernail. He goes, look, I got it! And then he put it in Lord Shiva's mouth. And then he was just, once it touched his tongue, he was just in ecstasy. Wow, the Mahaprasad, Lord Narayan. He starts dancing, he's in ecstasy. And then his wife comes, Parvati comes, and, oh my Lord, you're so happy, what has happened? He's like, wow, I got the Mahaprasad, Lord Narayan. Oh, really? Did you save some for me? Oh. And she was so angry. She couldn't believe that her husband didn't save Mahaprasad for her. What do you mean you didn't save Prashadam for me? And she was so angry. She's the mother of material nature. She's like in charge. This material world is known as dukkha. It's in her control. And she was so angry. She nearly burnt up the whole universe. So then the demigods started freaking out. Oh, the universe is about to explode here. So then they called to the Lord, and the Lord appeared and said, my dear Father, what's the problem? It's like, you gave Mahaprasad to Narayana, you gave Mahaprasad to Lord Shiva. You didn't give to me. I need mercy too. And he says, okay, from now on, whenever I have a meal, you will get all the Mahaprasad. She goes, no, not just me. Everyone should get Mahaprasad. Like this. And he goes, okay. When I appear in Jagannath Puri, I will make sure that everyone gets Mahaprasad. Even the dog eaters, even the sudras, even the animals, everyone should get Mahaprasad. So that's why the way of great spiritual progress in that holy place called Jagannath Puri is the honoring of Mahaprasad. Because the Lord there gets 56 offerings every day. And not just small ones, like big giant pots. You see them, the priests, they walk out in these big rice pots like this. They're huge, big guys. Like this. There's so many pots. And that Mahaprasad is far out. You have to go there. Before you die, go to Jagannath Puri and have Mahaprasad. So it's by the mercy of Mother Parvati that we have Mahaprasad. And you see the devotees have the same mood. Not just me, but everyone should have Mahaprasad. We have this thing called Food for Life. Here, Manmohan Prabhu, he's running that, and he's making sure that everyone gets a chance. Not just catering, not just here at the temple we serve it for free, which is very rare in many ISKCON centers that they have prasadam for free. Usually you have to give something. But here, that tradition is still going on. I think it was instructed by Prabhupada in that way. And Yes, so even many homeless people can get it. And we have here, I have a friend of mine from the UK. So every day in London, he distributes 5,000 plates of food. 5,000 plates. Like how many plates get done in Crossways every day? 500 maybe? And that's the whole day. 5,000 every day. Imagine cooking that much. 800,000? Oh, 800. Yeah, so 1,000 is big, right? In Crossways. 5,000 plates. Every day you're cooking. And he doesn't just do it in London. He goes to Ukraine, you know. He's even now, you know. He's showing me videos, you know. There's like a missile shell that's just stuck in the ground. Yeah, really. And then you always hear some somewhere like this, and they're cooking. And there's like, it's like minus 15 degrees, and there's like full line of people coming for prashadam like this. He goes to Morocco after that earthquake took place, you know. He went to Morocco and in Turkey as well. Just they drive from Europe all the way and they come through. And they meet the government leaders and everything like that. And it's such a big deal. He even got an award from the Queen for his work. And I don't know if you know Russell Brand. He's like a famous, well, he used to be a famous comedian. Now he's like a motivational life coach thing. Yes, he's very famous. He's into Hare Krishna and he supports prashadam in this fruitful life. So, yes, this is a big impact on the on society. This prashadam distribution. So it says in the purport here, I want to address this point here, that Prabhupada said, however, when the chandalas, the lower class or poorer class, are taking prasad, this does not mean that they have become Narayan or Vishnu, or they have become God, just because they took prashadam. Narayan is situated in everyone's heart, but this does not mean that Narayan is a chandala or poor man. The Mayavad philosophy of accepting the poor man's Narayan is the most envious and atheistic movement in Vedic culture. It's a strong statement. But pretty much the reason why we're in this material world is that we're trying to be God. So when someone comes across in spiritual teachings to say that yes, if you meditate, then you become God, or that it's all one and that the purpose of life is to merge into that oneness and then you become God. So this is the greatest cheating, because the material world runs on this mentality, I am God and everyone's for me. So I'm going to read a couple of quotes from Prabhupada to address this issue here. So if you listen nicely, we can get it. So this is from the 6th canto, 19th chapter, text 9, purport. Lakshmi Narayan, Lord Vishnu and Mother Lakshmi are always situated in everyone's heart. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hridadishthaya Nudachistati. However, because non-devotees do not realize that Lord Vishnu stays with his eternal consort Lakshmi within the hearts of all living entities, they are not endowed with the opulence of Lord Vishnu. Unscrupulous men sometimes address a poor man as Darida Narayan or Poor Narayan. This is most unscientific. Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi are always situated in everyone's heart, but this does not mean that everyone is Narayan, especially not those in poverty. This is a most abominable term to use in connection with Narayan. Narayan never becomes poor, and therefore he can never be called Darida Narayan. Narayan is certainly situated in everyone's heart, but he is neither poor nor rich. Only unscrupulous persons who do not know the opulence of Narayan try to afflict him with poverty. So trying to project the material circumstances onto the Lord, like this. And this is from 6th canto, 4th chapter, text 29. Bhagavad Gita says, Avajananti mamura manasantanamashritam parambhavama jananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. Therefore, one must receive knowledge from a person to whom the Lord has revealed himself. There is no value in creating an imaginary name or form of the Lord. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam was an impersonalist, but nevertheless he said, Narayan Paro Bhakta. Narayan, the Supreme Personality Godhead, is not a person of the material world. We cannot assign Narayan a material designation, as the foolish attempt to do when they speak of Darida Narayan, poor Narayan. Narayan is always transcendental, beyond this material creation. How can he become Darida Narayan? Poverty is found within this material world, but in the spiritual world there is no such thing as poverty. Therefore, the idea of Darida Narayan is merely a concoction. So, pretty heavy statements. And we can see this is the importance of transcendental knowledge. Prabhupada's pranam mantra, or his mantra when you offer respects to him, is Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pracharine, Nivasesha Sunyavari Pasita Deshitarine. So Namaste Saraswati Devi. So he is the servant of his spiritual master. So if you look, the second picture on the left here, that is Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master. His name is Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So under his instruction, he preached Krishna consciousness. He took it from India to the Western world. It wasn't, Krishna consciousness was not, didn't exist outside. And you can imagine he was at when he got this instruction, he was in his 20s, he was still in university. But he started a business, he was married, he had kids and everything, but he still thought of this instruction. Only at the age of 69, he left. He got on a free cargo ship to America, landed in New York with only 40 rupees, which is $7 US, didn't know whether to go left or right, and it was winter. So, and then, the whole thing manifested in, 11 years, travels around the world 14 times, and established 108 temples, 5,000 disciples, writes 60 volumes of books, sleeps 2 hours every night translating, Only 2 hours he slept every night, just so we could get this, what we have now. So that was, he did it as a servant of his spiritual master. And then the next line, Gauravani Pracharine. He is preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya. That message is Harinama, Harinama, Harinama Eva Kevalam. Kalo nasteva nasteva gatiyanyata. That the only way to be delivered in this age of Kali, of Koruhim and hypocrisy, is chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name. There's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way. So Vedic scripture, when they say one thing once, you get it, you follow it. But when it says 3 times, then it's serious. If you don't follow this, you lost the plot. So that is Lord Chaitanya. He's preaching that, yes, chant the holy name of Krishna. And then Nivasesha Sunyavari Pasyacha Deshitarine. So he is delivering the Western world from voidism and impersonalism. Sunyavad Nivasesha. So Sunyavad is voidism. So this is the teachings of that the absolute or the goal of life is nothing. You may have heard this, it all comes from nothing, and the goal is to become nothing. Just like a flame, you are like the flame, and then that's it. So imagine doing all this meditation, all this austerity, all this work for nothing. They write so many books, talk so much, but it's all about nothing. Why talk? But no, people are grabbed by this voidism. They are caught by it. And the other one is called impersonalism, where they think nivasesha, which means they think that the absolute truth has no form, no activities, no qualities, no pastimes, no name. But no, if the creation and living beings that are created have form and activities and so many things, why can't the Supreme, the source of it, have it in the unlimited level in the most amazing way? Why? If it's in the store, it should be in the warehouse. You can't say, okay, is this in the store? And then, oh, we don't have it in the world. There's nothing there. Doesn't make sense, right? So this is called impersonal Mayavadi. So this impersonalism, Prabhupada really is, you can see in his book, he's really hitting this point, that don't be fooled by this. That, that it's not all one. Lord Chaitanya's sublime doctrine is achinta abheda bheda tattva, that it's inconceivable, simultaneously one and different. So how does that work? So they give an example of the sun. The sun, if you say, the sun's in my room, does that mean the sun globes in your room? No, it's the sun rays. The energy of the sun is there. But we sort of say, yes, the sun is there. But the sun ray is not the same in power as the sun globe. It's different. So you can say, okay, it's same because it comes from the same source, the rays in the sun. Same in quality. But in quantity is very different. Like that. So the living entity, us, the spirit soul, we're the same in quality as God. Same in quality. Eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss. Sometimes when, like young kids, we did schoolies, and they ask, well, what do you believe in? And I go, we believe in living forever, knowing everything, and always having a good time. That's pretty much what the soul's all about. So Krishna is of the same nature. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. He's the supreme controller out of all controllers. And he has a form, Vigraha, that's eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss. So we are the same in quality, but not in quantity. Just like the drop from the ocean and the ocean itself. Same in quality, different in quantity. But these impersonalists, these Mayavadis, they're trying to make the living entity say, yes, you're the same as the ocean. The drop is the same as the ocean. The sun ray is the same as the sun. You're cold outside. You need like a warm woolen shawl, right? What if I give you a woolen, cotton, some cotton throat, little cotton bud like that? Yeah, it's one. The part and the whole is the same. What's your problem? Here, get warm. Some devotees, they do this in a class. They go, some people believe that it's all one. There's no difference between you and me. We're all one like this, Oh, really? There's no difference, huh? Okay, you give me your wallet, I'll put it in my pocket. There's no difference between my pocket and your pocket. So Prabhupada, he really was pounding this because in India, many people being cheated. There's an incarnation appearing all the time, cheating simple people, saying that they are God, they are Krishna. Let's have Rasa Leela, you're all my gopis. Such, degraded mentality. So he wanted to do this. You may hear a lecture, I think it's on the Bhagavad Gita, and he says like, yes, people say that you are God, I am God, and then Prabhupada said, oh, we are all God? Then I am the kicking God, and I kick you on the face. He was really adamant about it, because you can see they're trying to denounce and kill someone he loves. He loves Krishna, his form, his activities, everything. And these impersonalists and Mayas are trying to take him out of the Bhagavad Gita. And they put their own nonsense philosophy in there. Imagine someone did that to someone you love. Yes, the person you love doesn't exist. He doesn't have activities, she doesn't have activities, they don't do anything. Actually you are the same as that person. It's like, where's the exchange of love? If it's all one, where's the lover and the beloved to exchange love? You're all alone, it's boring. One and alone. No, we are loving being. We have an ocean of love to give, so we give it to the unlimited Supreme Lord. And then we get that reciprocation, then our heart is fully fulfilled. It overflows with love, and that's how it goes out into preaching, into touching other people's hearts. And that is done by book distribution. Nivasesha Sunyavadi, he wrote these books to smash this. Prabhupada revealed to his disciple, he said, I was in the spiritual world, and then Krishna says, I want you to go down to the material world and preach. And Prabhupada said, no, I don't like austerity. I don't want to go. And then Krishna says, don't worry, you write books and I'll do the rest. Because these books are designed, because the goal is to chant Hare Krishna. But because we have this impersonalism, this voidism in the heart, we can't appreciate Krishna directly, we can't appreciate his name. So we have to get rid of it by reading these books. This gets rid of it, and then the juiciness of Krishna's name comes out more. Srila Rupa Goswami gives an analogy. We are affected by avidya. It's called ignorance. So he compared this ignorance to jaundice. So this is like yellow fever. And when you have this fever, anything sweet you taste tastes really bitter. So the cure for it is sugar candy. So you're like eating it. The sugar candy is like, oh, bitter, bitter. But you're getting cured. But eventually when you start tasting the sweetness, then you're in your normal condition. Similarly, us being in ignorance is not, it's a sick condition. And like sugar candy is the cure for jaundice, the cure for our ignorance is the chanting of transcendental sound vibration, the chanting of the holy name and the words of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. This will get rid of it. And then you have this taste, you have this conviction to engage in chanting the holy name incessantly. Kirtana Sarahari, you would want to chant all the time, as loud as possible. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami reveals this. Vyaktakara Bhagavate Karabarabara Kali Yugadama Nama Sankatara Sara. That the Bhagavatam is revealing again and again that the essence of Dharma, of religion in this age, is Nam Sankirtan, is the congregational chanting and dancing and ecstasy. And that pillars of our movement that we love so much is chanting, dancing, and feasting. Yes, okay. Yes, you chant and dance. Then when you get tired, then have some prashadam. This is what Prabhupada offered all living entities, everyone. Didn't matter who you were, whether you're a dog eater, hot dog eater. Everyone, it's all inclusive. Everyone is welcome to feel the bliss of this community of devotees where Krishna is the center and love prevails instead of envy and atheism. So I'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, you can ask. Yes, Jake? I think there's a mic they want to catch on the recording. It's going to be a great question.
Thank you. You were saying earlier about sacrifice and putting stuff in the fire, and can you explain to me a bit more about? Is that something that I should learn to be doing, or is that something that is done in the congregation?
Yeah. Okay. So there's a thing called fire sacrifice. And so this is part of the Vedic culture. So this whole knowledge is called Vedas. And they have a ritual called yajna, which means you invoke the presence of the Lord through the fire, through mantras. And then one would chant mantras and throw grains into the fire. So this was recommended in previous ages. So we're in the age called Kali Yuga, which is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, or the Iron Age. So the universe goes through cycles. Just like in the year we have 4 seasons: summer, autumn, winter, and spring. So each season of, summer is good for the beach, winter, stay inside, rug up, spring, smell the flowers, and autumn, the dry leaves, run through the dry leaves. There's some recommended process to act in these seasons. So similarly in the universe, there are seasons. So the golden age, everyone, this is like 1 million years back, everyone was really purified, everyone was, so the process of self-realization in that age was contemplative meditation. They lived for 100,000 years, so they could sit for 60,000 years, and it was fine, it was easy. They could do that. So then, as time goes on, things degrade, naturally. So then the next age came, which is called the Silver Age or Treta Yuga. So then the process of fire sacrifice was introduced. And at that time, it was like very elaborate though. They used like tons and tons of clarified butter and ghee, tons. Like the fire sacrifice would be like a stadium event, like MCG. Hundreds of thousands of people come, demigods would come, like residents from heavenly planets would come, reside there, take part of it. It was like a huge event. Like the thing to go to was a fire yagya. And like big fires, tons of ghee, and everything was made of like solid gold plates like this. And you know what they did after using those plates? Just chuck them in the bin. Just chuck it out. So we can't do it to that extent. You know, it was a different age. We do some to create an impression in the heart. It does do that. So we do it here, but it's not the main sacrifice. The main sacrifice in this age is, I'll do the third age. The process was the deity worship. So you have the forms of the Lord and decorate them. But even then, they had more opulence. There's a temple in South India, so they discovered the treasury. So the idea is that the owner of the land and the temple is the deity of the Lord. So he has a whole treasury. And they said there was like something like 2 billion or 20 billion, US dollars worth of treasure in there. Like that, I know. So great opulence, like we give like sort of plastic, but it's with love. So Krishna accepts it, luckily. I hope he, But the sacrifice, the main one in this age is Harinam Sankirtan, the chanting and dancing amongst devotees, and especially out there in the streets. Because the more people they hear, the more they join in, the more the atmosphere of hypocrisy and quarrel is dissipated. The dissensions between people, the barriers are destroyed, and people finally feel the nectar for which they're always anxious. So if you want to do a sacrifice, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And this sacrifice is so powerful, you attain the same result as those who are doing 60,000 years of meditation in previous ages. You actually attain much more because there's like a whole mercy thing going on. It's like a sale going on, like Black Friday, but like there's a big sale going on. Yeah, everyone gets praying. Namo Mahavananya, Krishna Prema Padayate. Lord Chaitanya is the most merciful incarnation of Krishna because he's giving Krishna Prema for free. If you want to serve Krishna, yeah, serve Krishna. Are you qualified? Worry about it later. You'll become purified. And then you have the qualifications to be an elevated soul. We're all supposed to become great souls, pure devotees. And chanting of the holy name is the most easiest and sublime way to do it. Is that okay? Jai. Thank you. Yes?
Prabhu, you mentioned about Gundam and Vaigundam.
Sorry?
Gundam and Vaigundam, you mentioned.
Kunta.
Yeah,
Yes.
can you please share some details about that?
Yeah. Oh, some verses?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know a verse that contains Vaikuntha in there. But what let me see if we got one. I do have one, but then I have to look for it, and it's not very scholarly of me. Can I find it? Okay, I'll find it for you. Here we go. I got it. I'm pretty fast. So this is one of my nice words. It's from the 3rd canto, 2nd chapter, text 12. Yanmatta lolupayikam swayoga maya balam dasayata grihitam vishwapanam swasya cha sabogade param padam bhushana bhushana mangam. The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency, Yogamaya. He came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone. even for those proud of their own opulence, including the Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha. Thus, Sri Krishna's transcendental body is the ornament of ornaments. So beautiful. So the ornament of ornaments. So you put ornaments on to make yourself look more pretty, beautiful, right? But Krishna puts ornaments to make the ornaments look beautiful. That's so, and it says Krishna is so beautiful that even the Lord of Vaikuntha, Vishnu, is attracted to him. So there's that pastime of when there was in Dwarka, and this Brahmana was having sons, but each time the son was born, it would disappear or die. So then usually in a kingdom, if something goes wrong, like bad weather, or like sons passing prematurely, because your son is not supposed to pass before you. So that it means that the king has done something wrong. He's responsible for everything. So this like Brahmanas, they could approach the king directly. He goes, "What are you doing wrong? You're supposed to protect your citizens here. My son's not. You're not protecting them." And he would have a son, and again, it will happen again and again. And then Arjuna heard this complaint. And Arjuna says, "My dear Brahmana, I defeated Lord Shiva. I got his weapon, the Pashupata weapon here. I hold the Gandiva. I'm better than Satyaki and Pradyumna, even Krishna. I'm better." He's saying like this. "I will protect, when your next son takes birth." So then, the wife is about to give birth, and Arjuna's outside the house. He puts all these like arrows with mantras inside, so like no one can penetrate. It's like impenetrable. So the son is born, and then shoop, goes into the sky, gets go through everything. And then Arjuna made a vow. He goes, "If I cannot protect your son, then I will jump into the fire and commit suicide." So then Arjuna's like, "Okay, man of my word." So he goes to jump into the fire, and then Krishna goes, wait, hang on a minute. I know where they are. Come with me." So they jump on Krishna's chariot, and they go through all the different heavenly planets. And they go to through all the layers of the universe, outside the universe. And then it's all dark, the horses get scared. So then Krishna gets his Sudarshan chakra, and then it brights up again. And then they make it to the planet of Mahavishnu. And he's like in this beautiful palace, and it's all opulent there. And, and there are the 10 sons of the Brahmana. And then it's like, why did you take them, And then Mahavishnu says, "Well, I just want to have your darshan, Krishna." So even the expansions and incarnations of the Lord are attracted to Krishna. Even Krishna is attracted to his own form. He said he's in the palace of Dwarka and has onyx floor. So onyx is a very rare stone. It's like rare, like anything. It's not like marble. It's still quite. You can get a lot of marble, but onyx. So he looks into the onyx floor and he sees his reflection. He goes, "Whoa, who's this beautiful person?" Such, because Krishna's beauty is ever increasing. I'm attracted to this person like Śrīmati Radharani is attracted to me. So this is the difference. This is Vaikuntha when you're absorbed in Krishna. And Kunta, the material world, means forgetfulness of Krishna. Forgetfulness of Krishna, this is the root of all suffering. But the root of all happiness is our remembrance of Krishna. That is Vaikuntha. This is Vaikuntha. But Prabhupada said, this is not Vaikuntha, this is Vrindavan. As long as you're always engaged in the devotional service. I don't know if that letter's still out there. You can read it, it's on the notice board. Prabhupada quotes, "This is not Melbourne, this is the spiritual world." Thank you so much. Kantara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ki jai.